Hi, we are back with another episode of ETRetailCafe initiative by ETRetail. So today we have with us Mr. Damodar Mall, who looks after the groceries business of Reliance Retail. And he has 4 big brands under his name, which is Fresh Pick, Smart Point, Smart Bazaar and Fresh Signature. And if you are curious like me to know more about him, so let's start with him. So sir, tell me about how the journey started. From since childhood, you wanted to be a supermarketwala, or how was it?
No such thing. But before that, in the introduction, let me say many of our brands also have a digital version. So we also do Milk Basket in some of the top cities, and JioMart, of course, where even grocery you can order from there. So we are both physical and digital modern retail.
Nice.
Yeah.
So tell me about how you wanted to be a supermarketwala since your childhood. How was it?
No such thing. It's just, it's a popular party question because my surname is Mall, spelled M-A-L-L. Therefore, that's a standard question people ask. You know, your family name says you should be in this business. No such thing. I did the regular stuff and started my after education and business school. Started my life at Hindustan Unilever now, Hindustan Lever back then, and all was normal, predictable, straightforward.
So how did you change from FMCG to a supermarket business? I mean, what was the idea behind coming to the other side of the retail?
As FMCG marketers, we were always dealing with retailers, so one always had affinity for it. But the penny didn't drop there. The penny dropped for me in far away Sao Paulo. Unilever sent me on a project to Brazil, and at Sao Paulo for the first time I saw modern retail stores like this in relatively poorer countries. Otherwise one had seen them only in developed markets. But I said, if it can happen in Brazil, it can happen in India. Yeah. And then I came back and made a project plan for Hindustan Lever to get into retail, and we called it Annapurna Supermarkets, and that kind of business plan was done. But obviously for Unilever, it's the business of their customers and they won't want to get into it. But then the idea stayed with me, and then here I am. After that, now for over 20 years, a supermarketwala.
So Mr. Damani, Mr. Biani, Mr. Ambani. I mean, the big names you take, you have worked with all of them. So how did you get associated with Mr. Damani, Mr. Biani and Mr. Ambani?
As I said, I created this thought that India would be ready for modern retail, and I wanted to set up something on my own, and went with a business plan, and Mr. Damani decided to back it. And we learned, and therefore the first chapter of my book is called From Sao Paulo to Raigad Bazaar, which is where both of us walked the stores, understood, made up our point of view. And then we started with a store in Navi Mumbai and then in Thane, learning how retail is done and learning our own formula with which to create a venture from what was an idea and a conviction that I carried, and at that stage then both of us started sharing. And
then Mr. Biani and Mr. Ambani?
Well, after that there was a break. That startup of mine didn't, while it has scaled up, Mr. Damani has taken it forward and how. But I was not doing that, and that's when I moved to Kishorji and moved with Kishorji and then shaped that venture. 10 years, yeah, today it's been 10 years. Back, I moved to Reliance Retail as part of the journey. And yeah, it's fun, driving value retail at scale. And as I said, both physical, which has been our legacy strength, as well as shaping it digital. But right through the pitches have changed. Earlier I played in Shivaji Park, then I played in Wankhede, to just steal a metaphor from cricket, and then one gets the feeling that one is now playing on a really big bad global kind of a scale in the current phase. So for me, the journey has been consistent as a value retailer, and as Supermarketwala, as people call it.
So you coined the term supermarket in India for the consumers. Can we say that?
You know, the pioneers in self-service retail in India, in grocery, actually have been the cooperatives. The prominent amongst them were Super Bazaar in Delhi and Sahkari Bhandar, who are an associate of ours, Apna Bazaar, and many such things. Across the Indian spectrum, cooperatives are the ones that really brought self-service. And like I said, even I learned Raigad Bazaar at Alibag, observing cooperatives that they function. So private owned, corporatized retail is what I have been associated with in this phase of it. But the pioneers have been cooperatives in India.
Do you ever miss, I mean, an iota of thought comes to your mind, if I would have been Mr. Damani and I would have continued working with him, so things would have been different for me that at this point of time?
The good part is, and one counts one's blessings in that manner, that I have not missed doing what I had started off doing. Like I said, the pitch will change, but you got to adjust to the new batting conditions, new weather conditions, and continue your game, shaping your game in that manner. So, to that extent, I think I'm a player independent of the pitch. So one plays on any environment one is given, and if I can say it myself, I've really enjoyed doing it successfully in all the contexts.
So you were mentioning about your book. What made you write a book on supermarket? I mean, you call yourself Supermarketwala.
No, I sell dal and chawal for a living. So I'm not the one who writes books, but a friend said, you have an original point of view. Most of the thinking in retail, what you get to read, comes from a very different context, which is the Western context. Here, retail is actually a celebration of choice, abundance, positivity, consumption creation. And worldwide retail is all about logistics, supply chain, efficiency. He said, these are two different threads and point of view altogether. So he said, someone offered me a blog to write. Forbes India offered me an invitation blog to write, and I said, "Itna to I can do." And I started what I would discuss with people. I started sharing it on the blog. One thing led to the other. I started getting responses from strangers for the first time, people who I didn't know, people from far lands, smart people, engaging with me, finding what I had to say interesting. And then after a few blog posts, some editor from the publisher, Penguin, saw my blog and said, "This is not a blog, there is a book inside it." And one thing led to the other and the book happened.
So you have been into the industry from such a long time. What were the challenges back then and how the challenges have changed right now in the supermarket industry? And apart from that, how has the consumer behavior also changed? If you can explain these two things with anecdotes, it will be easier for us to understand.
Early days, there were very few believers in modern retail. Even large brands, global brands would come and say to us, "We will not put barcodes on our pack because they spoil the design." Yeah. So one had to discover the way of doing. One had to get one's followers, people, believers, over a period of time with a lot of effort. All that has changed. Modern retail is a big game now. There is still a lot of headroom, but it is mainstream. Large corporates like Reliance are very much there in the play. There is interest worldwide. The consumption story of India is understood. So the pitch conditions have improved, if I can continue the metaphor. The ball is coming nicely on the bat compared to then. To that extent, it's been good. The consumer in India, I call it, and I've been observing, working with and serving the Indian consumer for over 20 years now. I call her as much an asserting customer as she is an emerging customer. Yes, modernizing is happening, habits are changing, but she wants what she wants. And if you take 15 years to spice up your fries before you sell them to me. That is your learning cost, but she will have it the way she would want. So what I have learned about the Indian consumer, and that applies even to the digital shopping habits which are in vogue now. What I've learned is, be 2 steps ahead of her, and she will walk 1 step and hold your hand. You try and teach her from 6 steps ahead and saying, please improve yourself. The consumer in India says, you go your way, I am good and my way. So the entire existence of mine has been to make sure and keep looking back whether I am just 2 steps, 1.5 steps ahead of the customer, because that's when things work, is what I would say.
True that. So time and again you're talking about the digital part of the business. So what sort of innovations have you got into the business which have actually paved a new wave of growth?
Yeah, so digital is mainstream. For our income levels, I think as people, we are far more digitally literate. Access to data has been democratized. Therefore, you have to write our own script. We have to learn with the consumer and shape our own models, is the way I see it. So I always say that there is no such thing in India as a digital-only shopping household. Similarly, there is no such thing in India as a kirana shopping household. In the same household, there is a supermarket occasion, there is a big box shopping occasion, there is a digital ordering occasion, and there is a kirana shopping occasion. So you are dealing with the same family and the same consumption opportunity. For me, for us as Reliance, we want to participate in the fuller opportunity. We want to help modernize the kirana stores. We want to set up stores like this where people come and buy stuff in the modern but physical way, and also serve them digitally where they can order.
Okay, tell me one thing. Technology is moving at a very fast pace these days. I mean, it is penetrating into the businesses like anything. What if technology replaces you one day? What will you do?
Technology will replace what is inefficient. I really hope and pray that technology replaces the inefficient and repetitive part of me, so that the part of me that is creative, inspiring and imaginative gets the full play. I don't have to do repetitive, non-judgment required things. So I really look forward to tech as a liberating force. A small thing to say, what we were forced to do during lockdowns, which is run our business digitally, being at home, now has liberated us. There could be an important meeting in Delhi, which I cannot participate in, but our team goes there and 2 points come up in the meeting where they believe getting Damodar online will be useful. And that's when I joined the meeting digitally. No travel needed, no nothing needed. I participate and don't miss the opportunity of adding value to that interaction. This whole flexibility has, for me, created productivity and made sure that all of us actually work better. So tech is lovely because it liberates the human, it liberates the creative. But like I always say, good tech or good processes are like good shoes. Yeah? You need them to go far safer. But you never do 2 things with good shoes. Never ask the shoes, or never let the shoes decide where you're going. And however expensive and sophisticated the shoes are, you never wear them on your head. I think as long as you have that clarity about tech, it's a enormously enabling and empowering force.
But when we look at the startups, what they are doing is they are using tech and creating disruptions in the market. But when it comes to profitability and scalability, it's like, I mean, retailers, big brand retailers like you, who have been associated with Reliance, Future and other brands, I mean, they have actually seen profitability and scalability. So what is startups doing wrong in your opinion?
No. Nobody is doing anything wrong. If you want, I can show you 20 examples of physical retailers that are making a mess of it. So doing incorrect things and improper things is not the monopoly of digital startups. Yeah, bad things can be done by everyone. So there is no such thing as digital startups that are messy or physical startups that are messy. All startups, each journey, including mine when I was in a startup, is always messy, is always prone to errors. But I think it's the nature's way, it's the manthan way through which success in the form of Amrit comes and poison also comes in the form of failure. I enjoy this process. I enjoy the fact that there are so many startups, so many new ideas are coming and taking a pot shot at disrupting, saying this particular industry needs to be disrupted. Out of the 4 people taking a shot, 1 will really be able to hack it.
So it's
And
all
that is
about
good,
taking
that
risk.
is good for the world.
So it's all about taking a risk.
Yeah, it's all about taking a risk. It's all about taking a risk. It's all about being confident. It's all about saying, let me take a shot at this. Even if it doesn't work, world is not going to fall apart. I will do something else. I think that is a very good place to be in. And that's how I look at startup, and not as startups and funding and in that manner. Everyone starting even a shopping cart on the road, trying to sell holy items during the season or fruits and vegetables is a startup with same amount of risk, with the same amount of chance of messing up.
So can I say that, can I ask that what risk did you take in your career that actually changed the course of your career completely?
There are several of them. I mean, to me, the first one, which is in the public space, is the fact that after doing my business management, doing the standard multinational Unilever, which is the school for all good management practices, working there for a tenure and then giving it all up and moving into something that was not proven back then was the largest risk, and hopefully it has made some dent in the way the idea of modern retail has shaped and the sector has shaped.
So leave apart the past. I mean, you have made a successful career, to be very honest. And when we talk about the future now, how do you see the future of supermarket changing going ahead? And what role will technology play in that?
Technology will play a role whether you are stitching garments, whether you are creating movies, or whether you are doing supermarkets. So technology and democratized technology is everything. So whatever we do, whether in big box stores, small box stores, or our digital platform, whether they are normal platform, whether they are subscription and membership platforms, whatever we do, technology makes things go around. The amount of technology that goes behind digital technology that makes the store look so innocent, nice, colorful, and you can just bill there and go away is one hell of a lot. So the reason why certain colors are in this store this week is because there is a whole analytics backbone of technology that is running in the background. So we will keep shaping, we will keep working with emerging consumers, all regions, small town, big town, everywhere we have gone with our large stores like this, up to towns with 40,000 and 50,000 population. Everything will be done with the firm footing of technology supporting us.
Q-commerce, isn't it a big threat? Because I mean, to be honest, the consumer, what these guys are doing, they need something. It's there at the tip of their phone, and they get in 10 minutes. Do you really think they will continue putting in effort and coming to supermarket and take the entire grocery for a month or week, howsoever? I mean, they run their households.
So I always say this, that like first, any disruptive shot at any opportunity opens up a whole lot of learning for everybody involved. Those who are taking the risk, as well as those like me who are choosing to stay on the sidelines and watching this. Another fundamental thing I learned is magic happens or scalable ventures happen when consumer model, things that delight the consumer, and business model, which makes the venture viable, they meet at the same point. As long as the consumer is very happy but the venture is struggling, you have not found a formula. There is still to be rework to be done. I would only say, I don't know which part is higher or lower, but I would only say in this whole space of 10-minute grocery delivery, these two are not in sync at the moment. The rest, I think all of us that are entrepreneurs on very smart young entrepreneurs behind these ventures, I think we are all learning and figuring out.
True that the stage of learning and figuring out, I mean, never stops till the time, I mean, we are there in the industry and we are alive, to be very honest. So we'll do a quick fire with you and we'll be asking 5 questions from you. No time to think, you just have to answer like this. What keeps you motivated daily?
The customer in my stores. I can spend any amount of time as long as I see customer shopping in my store and get to observe. There is so much visible in 5 minutes of observing a customer. As long as I keep getting a high on that, I can keep doing what I'm doing forever.
Your favorite business book?
My favorite business book is always the one that I'm reading now. So right now it's not a business book, but it is a business book. It's a book about checklists by one Dr. Gawande. It's amazing how he applies it to the world of surgery and to the world of aviation and to the world of business and to the world of investing. My always the favorite book is always the one that I'm reading, and I read it a lot because I would like each thing that I read. I'm a banya. I would like each thing that I read to make a difference to me. So till it makes a difference, I keep absorbing what I've chosen.
Okay, one brand or retailer you look forward to or admire a lot, and why?
There are several of them. So retailers, I think Trader Joe's and Aldi. Very different approach, but they are from my value retail sector. Therefore, I'm picking on those. They are fun to visit. They are fun to learn from and watch and be inspired about.
You're taking care of offline retail, and digital is aiding that. So where do you shop from, online or offline?
Like I said, both. And I shop from Kirana store as well.
Oh, nice. 5 tips or advisory points that you would like to share with the upcoming retailers or the brands which are planning to venture into the supermarket industry.
I don't know, 5 tips. I normally people who run shops are simple people. They're not the ones who consult or advise. So I will tell you things that work for me. The good part of being in this business is you sign on day one, you have to sign up for saying, I believe in the consumption story of India. And I'm here to serve it in my own way, the way I understand. Whether it is through brands that I create or whether it is through platforms that I create, which is the stores or digital platforms that I create. But that conviction, if you don't have that conviction, I think stay out of this business, because that's the heart of why you're here. The other bit I would say, a good thing in retail is the learning cycle time is amazingly quick. So there should be no ego in trying out things that come to your mind. I've done things like 2 pack designs come to me and I can't decide. I said, produce 1 batch of this pack, 1 batch of this pack, launch it in similar 10 stores each. At the end of 1 weekend, the customer will tell you which is a bright choice and which is an idiotic choice. I think this whole retail offers this, no simulation needed, no market research needed. Real people are shopping inside your brand, real stuff with their own money. So the truth is out there, visible for you to see. Like I said, observe when people are shopping, or even see from data. As long as you have the humility to be called out wrong and the urge to learn, this is the fastest learning platform I see. And that's why I believe, compared to brands, we are more on the go. We are more agile, and we respond to trends faster. So such things, if you make a habit of, simple things which create insights and become powerful, that would stand in good stead. And yeah, one thing I do is, any market that I go to, I will always see a local supermarket. B, I will always make sure I make time to walk the stores at the speed of the consumer or the shopper. These are a few good habits that I follow. I don't know what is the advice other people need.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time and knowing so much about supermarket. I hope you also enjoyed this episode of ET Retail Cafe, and we'll be back soon, another week, next week, which means with a new episode and a new retailer with us. Thank you so much for watching.